Today I'm going to talk about a plant that I absolutely love. It's an attractive, nutritious packed perennial. It's called the mushroom plant. It's an herb, and guess what it tastes like? Mushrooms. It's native to New Guinea, but it's so easy for us to grow in our gardens, as well as me growing it on my windowsill. And look how pretty it looks outside among the birds. Let's get right into this wonderful herb to use for cooking or salads. So here is the plant growing in my garden. Now, I can tell you what I know about this plant. I bought them quite a few years ago, 2 plants, and over the years one of them did go ahead and pass on because I had it in the sun. These particular plants, the mushroom plant or the mushroom herb, which is from New Guinea originally, they don't like a lot of sun. Now, if it's cool and sunny, they can do fine. But when it's hot and sunny, they will go on their way out. So if you keep that in mind, you should do really good. But there it is. It's beautiful, and it's a great plant to eat. But I have more exciting news on this plant. And as this video goes on, I'm going to talk about that. Look how beautiful and bushy it gets when it's outside. There it's growing in a tote in the yard there with some peppers in there. So it's sharing space with other plants. It doesn't have a massive root system, so it's a friendly plant to plant with other types of plants. But it's gorgeous, and that is the tag that came with the original plant that I bought many years ago. And Gary, when he's out there in the garden, he just picks and munches because they're crunchy. They taste really good. They actually taste like you're eating mushrooms raw. And it's got a very good flavor, and that's why it's a very popular plant in many parts of the world. And you can use this raw or absolutely for cooking as well. And I prefer to add it into my dishes later on, not right in the beginning, because I don't want it to cook away, though the flavor does intensify as it cooks. But I like keeping the nice green color. And let me tell you something, he loves it. I haven't seen any flowers on it, so it can't help the hummingbirds. But there it is right now, growing on my kitchen window. Now, these are all new plants. I just started them this year, and I'm going to show you exactly how to start them and eat them at the same time. And there it is. It's growing in with a pepper. That just so happens to be a pepper seed that came up in these containers that I keep on my windowsill. That is a south-facing window, so it does get some sun, but they seem okay, and they're all doing really well. And it's easy to water, as I've got the kitchen sink right there, and sometimes I use it slightly warm, not so cold, and there's the leaves from the plant. So as they grow on my windowsill, and I'm propagating and making tons more plants, I'm enjoying them, adding them into my eggs in the morning, or salad raw, or putting them into stews or stir fries or anything you want. You chop it up and put it in the soup. So this is how easy it is to propagate. Now in the house, they're growing very tall and lanky, but that's okay. That's going to be fine because come later on in the spring, I'm going to plant them outside. So there's already one in there propagating. And there it is. I propagated it, and it's already growing. It's got brand new leaves on it. Isn't that gorgeous? So here is how I do it. Now, here's a stem. I want you to see how long they get in the window. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to cut a stem off. But in the meantime, I'm not going to waste those leaves. We're going to eat them. So I'm going to take them off. Here, I'm going to cut it. Now, what I want to do is leave a certain amount to go under the soil, and we'll get into that, as we want to make sure they have enough stem to root properly. And there's the other one. See how they grow? They'll split off. So when they are cut, they'll send out 2 shoots from the top. Now I'm just going to remove the leaves because there's no wasting on this plant. They taste too good to waste. No reason to waste it or compost those leaves. Look how beautiful and shiny they are. They're so crispy when you bite into them and crunchy. They're really good. I just love these plants. They make a beautiful house plant. What can I say? And at the same time, you can sit there and eat your house plant. Now, I here want to leave a couple little leaves on it, just so the plant will survive. Because now we're going to take this little stem and we're going to make it into a new plant. So I use a skinny little paintbrush, and I'm just making a nice deep hole. And as you noticed, I cut the stem a little bit on the long side, not too long, 4 to 6 inches. But what I'm going to do is where the leaves come out, 2 joints, I'm going to make sure that 2 joints go under the soil, because that's where they tend to root. Now you could put it in water, but I have found when it comes to propagating, if you can get away from the water, you'll have a much healthier plant, because a lot of times they will rot. So I'm going to show you here exactly how you can propagate not only this plant, but other ones. Now there it is. I'm watering it. When I pushed it in, I kind of made a little divot around the plant itself, so when you water it, it will go directly to the stalk of the plant that you pushed into the soil, like a little well around the stem. Now it's got the 2 teeny weeny little leaves. It's going to sit there and it's going to do its thing. And here's another one. I'm going to get that planted as well. I just keep taking them off like that and continue to eat them. It is just fantastic that I can have something growing on my windowsill. Any moment, I could just grab them and eat them and add them to my salad. They're packed with vitamin A and vitamin C. They've got protein and calcium, iron, and beta carotene in it. Can't ask for anything else. And like I said, it's growing as a house plant. Outside, they tend to get, they say, 24 inches tall, but I've had mine get bushier and taller than that. Now here's a stem that has no peak to it. It is a center stem as I cut it because it was so long. And those will grow too, but there's just a little different way of doing it. So again, remove the leaves, but this time we're going to cut the large leaves in half or maybe even a little bit more. We want to leave a little bit of leaf matter on the stem so the plant will generate roots. But we don't have to leave the whole leaf, so you can just cut it, and there it is. Now the same thing, we want to get 2 of those joints under the soil, and then we have to keep it well watered. Now I will say, as I'm doing this, it is a hard plant to find. I took a long time for me to find it. I was going nursery to nursery, and I finally found a nursery that would order it for me. And that's when I got a couple plants some years ago. So you will have to ask for it. I'm sure you can find it on eBay or Etsy. You don't want to get seeds, as I don't know how it grows that way. I have never had mine flower. The best way to get the plant exactly what you're getting is cutting. So you want to get a live plant, and I don't know how well they'll do shipping an unrooted plant. So I would suggest to get a live plant from somewhere. Ask your nurseries around you in your area if they can order it. But once you get it, look how easy it is to propagate. And there it is. Now I want to show you here in the container. When you're propagating most any plant like this, you have to keep it damp, because those roots, those tiny little roots, even when you don't see them in the beginning, if you were putting it in water, you can't even see the roots when they start sometimes. If they break off or get nudged around, they won't come back sometimes. So here what I do is I have 2 food containers. The bottom one has no holes, but the top one where they're planted in does have holes. And I do allow the water to build up a little bit at the base of the plant in the bottom pot so it can stay moist. Not a lot of water, you don't want it underwater, but allow a little bit of water on the bottom. And there they are. Oh, that's another video coming. We'll talk about that another time. There they are, all lined up with a few other plants I'm propagating right now and growing some peppers. And I just keep propagating those mushroom plants as I eat them. I keep developing more, and I absolutely love them. It's worth investing some time to look for them. Go ahead and Google it, but I know you can find them. They're out there. So with that, have a wonderful day. And don't forget to eat what you grow, even on your windowsill.